Hey vegan cyclists, so we're doing a breakdown on CycloCross in Vegas. Now the breakdown isn't very technical because cyclocrosses just go really, really hard the whole time. So there's not a lot of tactics, but it was a really super fun race. Now I had to start all the way in the back because I actually missed my first race, and I had to move up to the wheelers and dealers, which was basically cats 1 through 4. It's just no age groups, no categories, everyone together. If you have something to do with the cycling industry. So it was pretty cool, but being way back here, everyone was bunching up hard on the first lap. You can see, like in this little section, so many guys just coming to a complete standstill. Now, it actually worked out to be a huge benefit because me being so nervous, not really understanding what to do, being back here allowed me to kind of work my way in to the effort. Versus just, going hog wild on the first lap, trying to stay with guys that were out of my league and just blowing into pieces. But this course suited me so well. The bike that I was borrowing from Danny from Vegas Bike Store was just, it fit me so good. Everything just worked out really, really well. The course wasn't super technical, like that little section. I'm pretty sure most guys could ride over that stuff. But I didn't want to take any risks. I didn't want to fall, right? And so I didn't want to lose that time. I wanted to just be making up time. So I'd rather not risk, to make up half a second and then lose a bunch. The other thing that was super cool is that being so far back, I always had someone to chase. I was constantly, gobbling up guys, and that's just like super motivating. When you pass people, you feel good. You feel good about, in relative to how fast you're going when you're passing other people. It's great. And so I was just able to always have like another guy to chase down. And so I just sort of, just really worked into my fitness well. These climbs, I was making up so much time on these climbs. I don't know if other guys didn't have the right gearing or what the case was, but man, I was able to punch up these super steep little areas and make up a ton of time. And then it's what seemed like is a lot of guys would blow up on those little sections, and then once they got to the flats, they were like recovering. But the thing is, this race was only 4 laps, and so then depending on how fast you go, I think my total time was like 36 minutes, 37 minutes, something around there. It was less than 40 minutes. And so, dude, like doing a crit race for an hour, your balls to the walls for an hour, doing 40 minutes didn't seem like, I don't know, my fitness was fine for that. I was looking forward to, 40 minutes isn't that long to suffer. But so coming through these super little technical sections, and again, I've been on this bike for, as long as this race has been going. So I'm sort of just figuring out the bike, figuring out the course, trying to learn as I go. This sand section was totally nuts. Everyone was carrying their bike, so I tried carrying the bike. But man, the bike was super heavy, and you can see how awkward I'm running, like a goofus. But everyone, as soon as they got out of that sand pit, would just blow into pieces. They would all go so hard through that sand and then just completely, lose it right after that. So I was making up a ton of time right out of that sand section. Now, this course really wasn't that technical. I mean, for me, it was the perfect course because you really had to have good, road fitness. Now, there were definitely some technical sections, like these little barriers that, man, I was so scared going. You go so fast into them, and then you have to, unclip and start running. And you look like Fred Flintstone, with your feet just, spinning so fast. They had these little, wall things right here, which were super fun to get over, but you really had to come in with a lot of speed and kind of be in the right like have your pedals in the right position, so you hit it and we're able to accelerate up. But again, man, the course had so many of these little like flat straight sections that weren't too off camber, and I have a horrible time with off camberness, when like a turn is just off camber. So, you know, for me, I don't know, dude, this worked out so well. This section though was giving me so many fits. Unclipping, I was kind of getting stuck sometimes and then running up there. That was probably easily my worst section. You would have trains like this, guys all sitting on wheels and drafting, which was sort of strange. I know there was a little bit of wind, but dude, it's like, let's just go hard. And so I don't know if guys were trying to hold back, and then this guy. What are those? But it's actually pretty funny because cyclocross has this vibe of, you know, you just come out and you have a good time, right? It's just like a perfect blend between road and mountain, as in where mountain is super relaxed, road is super stressful and strict. You can see I just, dude, roasted those two dudes on that hill. But this is like, people want to race, like the racing is serious, but it's also this fun vibe where you dress up and people are cheering at you and yelling at you. Under the lights, like, get out of town. Being under the lights makes you always feel like a pro. It's super cool. Coming into the sand section, I mean, this might be the second or third lap, there was like a groove right here to the right. And so I started just walking my bike through it because the bike was pretty heavy. And so then this was kind of, again, another point where I was saving a lot of energy through that sand section. And just gobbling up dudes the entire race. I want to say I started, you know, my number was 88. So 88th, I guess, is when I started. And just coming through the pack big time. Ended up getting 25th place, which was really cool. There was only about a minute that separated me from like 10th place. So I guess if maybe I'd gotten a better start or been further up front, but then, you know, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't have done so good because I would have been going so hard trying to stay up with the guys and blown myself up. As you can see, that I'm just, every one of these guys is just like, when I'm passing them, they're just on the rivet. Like they've been through war, right? And so by that first lap being so far back and buried, I actually think it helped me out with a better overall time, because I was able to just, again, work into the fitness. Right here, my clip, it doesn't unclip, and so then I just swerved to the left. It was, gosh, that section was just throwing me through a loop. So this is the third lap, and I'm just still catching guys, and their suffering feeds into me, and I just become stronger as they look over and go, ugh. I'm like, yeah, you know, feel that pain. And so as they're suffering, I gain more fitness. I honestly felt probably the best on the last lap. So it was really the perfect pacing. You can see I'm like sprinting, I'm out of the saddle, you know, just smashing into these sections, and always having someone up front to chase. Some of these guys look like they are, you know, this guy just looks super cyclocrossy. He looks super fit, and his whole getup looks sick. And so the only thing I can think is that a lot of these guys were trying to stay with, you know, the upper level dudes, because they're, you know, again, there's no categories. It's category 1 through 4. So, I mean, there's some legit dudes in this race. There was a little bit of drafting, which was kind of crazy because of how flat it was and how much wind there was. So you could sit on someone's wheel and draft a little bit, especially coming the other way than we're going now. And these little sections, man, if I had a little more time on the bike, maybe I'd be able to nail these, because everyone else was doing the technical stuff way better than I. But when it came to just raw fitness, and I think that's just kind of how my mountain bike career has been, like I'm all fitness, no skill. And so this course really kind of lent to that, being able to really use my fitness. I think I passed this guy, or he passed me. We went back and forth so many times, and then I think right there he was just donezo. Now this guy in front of me, naked, just running a Speedo, and I'm thinking, just don't lose to the guy in the Speedo. That's all you gotta do. Just beat him. That's it. You beat the guy in the Speedo, you win everything, right? So I did. I passed him, and now we're going into the last lap. Dude, the environment was so awesome. Just the loudspeakers and the lights and the banners. I seriously felt like a pro. I felt really good. Now, I come up to Bobby, who he just rode that section. Bobby is a legit cyclocross racer. He's a legit road racer as well. And so I come up to him, and I'm thinking, like, man, he has to have had a problem, like a mechanical or something, because I think on the first lap, he was top 10-ish, right? And so I come around him, and then he's, like, right on my wheel, just pushing me. Because most of the time when I would pass someone, they would just be out, they'd be gone. But Bobby just stayed on my wheel, and so he really made me push hard on this last lap because I didn't want to pass him and then have him pass me back. And I was thinking, like, dude, if I could beat Bobby, that's a huge win. And then, look, dude, Bobby just rails into the sand, like, brr. Look at that again. Dude, and then this guy, like, kicks him. But this sand section was so, dude, it would blow you up so quickly. So I would take this little like rut, and it was very efficient. And so even though Bobby got this huge gap on me by riding into the sand section, man, you could so easily just redline your heart. And so I'd kind of take it easy and then ride over that sand section, start to apply some power. And then you can see, like, those two guys. And Bobby, dude, he's had such a huge road season, so he was just kind of just over it. And then I get on this guy's wheel, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be like the last guy that I pass for the night. And he looks super pro. Just like, he looks like a cyclist, so I want to pass him. And I would say I'm flirting with the red line. Like, it's just right on the edge, where any little effort that I do could just send me into a complete and utter meltdown. So I'm sort of just hanging out with him, seeing where I can pass him, because I don't want to pass him going into the headwind section, because the headwind was insane. So you could seriously just sit on someone's wheel and do like 100 less watts than them. Again, coming into this section, man, it's so scary because you could just clip that thing and pile drive your face into the ground. That was a little bit nerve-wracking. So I'm trying to stick right on his wheel. We hit the barriers, and we think we passed like one or two more guys by me just trying to stay with this dude. And I probably should have just passed him sooner. I guess I wasn't really thinking about how close the finish was, because I had a match. Like, I could go, and I was thinking I'm going to get him on the final straight. And this is where I'm just sitting on his wheel, like almost not even pedaling, and he's crushing it because of the wind. But then we come into this last section, and I just so mess it up. My front wheel hits, my back wheel hits. I completely botch this stair step section altogether and just lose it, right? There's no way I'm going to make up that gap. Coming to the final straight, I give a little sprint, but, whatever. 25th, he was 24th, so I mean, what's that one extra spot? But holy moly, Cross Vegas was the funnest thing I've ever done. And as always, vegan cyclist. Yeah!